how many of us are no longer dealing with humans or people. We're no longer dealing with people. I'm seeing, and this could be in a workplace, this could be with family, or just anybody. When you're dealing with a person, it seems like you can't get through to them. They are very, some people have just gotten away with too much and nothing ever happens to them. And when I mean they've gotten away with too much, I'm talking about because I'm not a person who follows everything by the T. So I don't mean like that. I'm talking about a person who is consistently have done very nasty things to other people. And specifically at jobs and places where you have supervisors or other people that have done very nasty things to other people, and then you have their superiors who are aware of it, but they don't do anything about it. Sometimes people just never learn the lesson because they're never being held accountable. That lets me know such a person that continues to get away with doing things, ugly things like that, they are not really they might not be authentic people. They just belong to this particular kind of realm. They just belong to it. They don't really belong to anything, I would say, higher. That's not where they come from. I would say that's not where they originate. Okay. But I want to talk about specifically what I'm kind of seeing where people just seem like you can't get through to them. It's just like you try to explain, it's not making sense. Well, for one, narcissism has just taken over, but that's because you have entities who run the world that are narcissists. So it can't help but to be in the people because narcissism is what's ruling. But you get to a point where you're no longer dealing with people. You're dealing with, I want to say, very low vibrational kind of entities. You're not really dealing with people anymore. Okay. So I said to say I don't really get into how all the huge socialization right now. I know it's good, human connection and all that stuff. You want to maintain human connection. But a lot of people really aren't human anymore. They're no longer human. They are robots. And I'm not saying that to be funny. It's just what it is. It's the truth. A lot of people are robots. You really have to, at this point in time, really kind of put the work in to maintain your connection to a higher source. And there's many people who's not really putting in that work. And when you're dealing with somebody who's not putting in that work, it might be best to let them go. It might not be best to try to hold on to that relationship. Because you're holding on to a relationship with something that is that is no longer human and something that's a lower vibrational, really a robotoid, you know. But yeah, I was just kind of looking at the people. Like when I look at, I think some of those TikTok videos, the AI, all of these people robbing and looting. They said we're gonna rob this place, loot at 6:30 on November 3rd. Why would they put that out there? Saying we're gonna meet up so we can rob Walmart and loot. We're gonna meet up. Why would they put that out there? That looked like a setup by the doggone government. Who came up with that time? Who came up with that time? And the first person who came up with that time, they must be the feds. That don't even sound right. But my thing is to have a bunch of people to go out and just rob and loot a place. You're not really dealing with people anymore. These people are not going crazy that over their first day off of not getting SNAP benefits. The first day, November 3rd, they stopped getting SNAP. So everybody just want to go in and loot the place. And a lot of people that was robbing and looting, I guess, if that ever happened, because I didn't even check to see if that actually happened. But a lot of people that are doing it probably never received SNAP benefits in the first place. So you always pay for your groceries. Why are you going to rob the place now because you feel like you can get away with it? You always pay for your groceries because you never got SNAP. Some people never got benefits. What they robbing for? Just because they see an opportunity. Just like riots. They see an opportunity to just take stuff. Anyway, I just feel like saying that. Like, a lot of these people that seem like they just can't get it, they seem to be just extremely unreasonable. You know, something came in my mind talking about pride comes before the fall. The pride comes before the fall. Every time you have a fall in consciousness like that, it usually has to do with pride. Pride comes before the fall. Because you know what, we're always told to forgive, but people are never told to apologize. But you're always told to forgive. Now, forgiveness is important because it's not about letting the other person off the hook. It's not about letting the other person off the hook. It's freeing that type of energy from you. That experience or whatever that is that you experience that continues to hold you bondage, to keep you bondage. Forgiveness is releasing that type of stuff off of you because it's not holding on to that forever. It's not hurting the other person. It's constantly giving them power over you. So really forgiveness is about releasing that type of thing that happened that's keeping you bondage. It's releasing it up off of you. That's what forgiveness is. It's not about letting the other person go free because honestly, forgiveness is like it's a type of frequency. Forgiveness is a type of frequency. I call it a spirit, but forgiveness is a type of frequency. And once you really get into master forgiveness, a lot of these so-called people that has done you wrong, they're going to catch it. That's why I said you get into that vibration of forgiveness or that frequency of forgiveness, it's going to be stronger than some return to sender or what you call it a mirror. See, because I don't do that stuff. What do you call it? A mirror box. Those mirror boxes that people like to do. Mirror box spells, return to sender. I don't do all that stuff because I just feel like it's too much physical work. You have to constantly spend money. There's too much work. I'd rather get into the frequency of forgiveness. If you use the scripture properly, you wouldn't have to like constantly do all this stuff. Like I learned like that stuff costs too much money. It takes a lot of my time and it costs a lot of money. And there was a time in my life where I was under attack and I was dead broke. I didn't even have money for food. Okay, didn't have money to stay anywhere. And I was under spiritual attack and I had no money to constantly pay in to buying all this stuff. I just did not have the money to constantly buy in, especially when you might have a coven attacking you. My sibling is like a higher ranking Freemason. So when you have their brothers and then you have women who are Eastern Star who they get to attack you, I don't have the money to keep buying all that stuff. So better learn a different way to do it. That's why I don't get heavy into buying a bunch of materials because I would need a lot of money. For the level of attacks I was getting, I would need a whole lot of money. I would need a lot of money. It's best to get knowledge. The truth will set you free. The more enlightened you are, the more you see that these people don't have the power that you think they have. The more enlightened you get. So I prefer enlightenment, okay, over buying a whole bunch of stuff. Because, like I said, around that time, I did not have the money. I couldn't hardly pay for a sandwich. Okay? But anyway, I just felt like talking really quickly because it's been maybe 2 or 3 days since I've said anything. But yeah. Pride comes before the fall, but that fall is a fall of consciousness. So you see a lot of civilizations have fallen. I would speak for Atlantis and other civilizations. Atlantis actually had a huge problem with pride. Huge problem with pride. And abuse of power. And you see that now. But anyway, when people, even if it's a family member, when they get to the point where they are to the point where they can't, like I'm gonna use an example. Somebody, like if you have vicious family members, I'll use something that I know about. They have consistently talked about you. You have been the black sheep, and you can't figure out what you did wrong. Okay, obviously you're the sacrifice of that family. But my point is, they talk about you as not making sense with the stuff that they say, like, and they have done you wrong, right? They have been the ones that do you wrong. For example, like say a family member who, say if you lost your father and you know that he wrote a will for you, but something happened where something was changed and you have family members who keep it a secret from you to take possibly over $100,000 away from you, to steal it from you. But you're the bad guy. You're consistently the bad guy and they stole from you, but you're the bad guy. See, that's when you're no longer dealing with people. Because these people just stole from you because they don't, for some reason, they have a hatred for you. And they take what's yours. And when you say something, they treat you like you're the problem. You're not dealing with the human being. No, you're not dealing with a human being. You're not dealing with a person anymore. That's something else going on, and that's something that I don't want a relationship with. And this is just an example. When people say don't let money come between you, I'm like, no, you got to look at the action. Forget about it just being about money, because I hate when people do that. Forget about it just being about money. You have to look at what they did and look at what's behind the action. What's behind what they did? What caused them to do what they do? Let's stop just looking at money. Like if I had a plate of food, I was eating dinner, and somebody snatched my plate of food, and I get upset with them. And it looked like, oh, you just getting upset over food, or you get upset over chicken or whatever. I don't eat chicken like that, but you know what I mean. It's not about the particular food in question. It's what is behind that person that caused them to do it. And do you want to allow yourself to constantly get pushed around by them? Because that's some type of bullying. So it's bigger than a plate of food, and it's bigger than the money. What is behind what caused them to do it? Because whatever's behind what's causing them to do it is controlling them, and you are not really dealing with a human being. Okay? But anyway, I just felt like talking really quickly about that, and I will talk later.